Good day, Earth Science students. Welcome to Video Lecture Episode 16. Remember that we have just recently started our discussion on the moon, and in fact last time we talked about the rotation and revolution of the moon and why we only see the one side of the moon. Alright, now let's talk about the reflection of the sun on the moon. The moon seems to shine because its surface reflects sunlight. Just as half of Earth experiences day as the other half experiences night, half of the moon is lighted while the other half is dark. Alright? Now, as the moon revolves around Earth, you see different portions of its lighted side, causing the moon's appearance to change. If you look on slide 75, you can see what I mean by that. Now, let's talk about what we call the phases of the moon. Moon phases are the different forms that the moon takes in its appearance from Earth. The phase depends on the relative positions of the moon, Earth, and the sun, as seen in both slide 75 and 76. Alright, now let's move to slide 77 and let's talk about the first of those phases, and that's a new moon. A new moon occurs when the moon is between Earth and the sun. During a new moon, the lighted half of the moon is facing the sun, and the dark side faces Earth. The moon is in the sky, but it cannot be seen because, like I said, the dark side is facing the Earth. So during this time, the moon rises and sets with the sun. We just don't see it because of which side it's facing. Now, following a new moon, we move into what we call the waxing phases. After a new moon, the phase begins waxing. Now, waxing means that more of the illuminated half of the moon can be seen each night. So if you look at slide 79, you can see it goes from the waxing crescent, the first quarter, and the waxing gibbous. And we'll talk about those individual phases in just a moment, all right? About 24 hours after a new moon, you can see a thin slice of the moon. This phase is called the waxing crescent. So we get a new moon, 24 hours later, so a day later, we get to see the next phase, which is the waxing crescent, which is just a thin slice. Okay. Now, about a week after a new moon, you can see half of the lighted side of the moon, or 1/4 of the moon's surface. This is called the first quarter phase. So, one day after the new moon, we get the waxing crescent. About a week after that new moon, so we're talking about 6 days later after the waxing crescent, we get the first quarter phase. And then lastly, in the waxing phases, we move on to another one, and that's when more than 1/4 is visible, which is called a waxing gibbous. And that's after the Latin word for humpback. Then we get what you see on slide 82. That's what the waxing gibbous, by the way, looks like. It's the image on the right-hand side of slide 82. Now, our last phase, okay, or what ends the waxing phases of the moon would be a full moon. A full moon occurs when all of the moon's surface facing Earth reflects light. In other words, if you look at slide 83, this is what we think about as far as when we think about the moon usually comes to our mind. And this is a full moon. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and close our discussion here. Next time we'll be talking about more phases of the moon, and I look forward to it. I hope this lecture has been helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments below. Reach out to me, send me an email or message. Have a nice day, and I do hope this has been helpful. Thank you. Goodbye.